Hello and good morning. Welcome back to my channel. Today with us we have Jaspal Kang, and like the most of my videos, I prefer the ones who are in the video to introduce themselves. So I'll ask Jaspal Kang to introduce herself.
As you now know, my name is Jaspal Kang. I am 21 years old. I was born in Punjab. I was raised across India as my father is in the army. I completed my schooling from various places. I went to Bangalore to pursue my graduation in psychology, sociology, and English literature from Christ deemed to be university. And there I completed 3 internships, 2 in the field of social work and 1 in the field of psychology. And I also completed 1 research paper as part of my graduation project. And about 1 year ago, psychology.
Okay,
That's about it.
Okay, that's great to know. So let's begin with the interaction. So share some insights on your test preparation journey and your TISSNET preparation, and how was your online assessment, or how did you prepare for that rather?
Yes, definitely. So about 1 year ago in August, I actually got to know about TISS as an institution. I wasn't very much aware of it because I don't know, because I already was pursuing my graduation, so I didn't know about the institute. So I started searching about psychology courses for my master's, and I came across this very unique course which I haven't seen across specialization in clinical and counseling practice. Now, wherever Jenny I've seen, it's only specialization in either clinical or counseling practice. And I wasn't ready to choose a specific field for myself as of now. So I thought it was a very unique course, and the course structure was itself very good, and a lot of focus was given to field work. So I came across this course in at TISS. So I thought that I should more, and then I got to know the importance of it and the rank of it, and preparation a little late. I would recommend like August or before that if they want. I started in December, so I had approximately 2 months. And yeah, so I was pretty late. And the thing is, my maths was weak and still is. It's not very great. So I would recommend aspirants to actually start a little before so that they have enough time to practice maths, because I didn't have enough time to practice maths and focus on English and GK. And I would also recommend that if you are weak at something, do it daily, but don't leave out on your strengths. Like, for example, I knew that English, I'll be able to score well. So don't leave out on the strengths that you have, but focus on your weaknesses as well. So for TISSNET, I joined this course in this website called TISSNET.prep. So I think that would be really helpful. They have various courses. So that helped me for GK, for mathematics, logical reasoning, and English also. So Talha Khan sir is taking this course. So he kept online sessions every day at night around 9 o'clock for about 1.5 to 2 hours of maths. So I used to practice maths with him online and with other aspirants who had joined the course. So that really helped me a lot. And I had joined various WhatsApp chats and Telegram chats which held quizzes every day. So that helped me, because every day I used to dedicate about half an hour to doing those quizzes, which helped me. And I think reading the newspaper is very important for that particular year and those years' current affairs. And I would recommend the aspirants to be careful of the states and the policies that are mentioned, because a lot of things come from which state was this implemented in, or where was this successful. So being observant while reading the newspaper is also important, I would suggest. So that is, and I gave a lot of mock tests also. I remember I gave about 5 to 6 mock tests, just to know where I stand. So that helped me, and that was about it for my TISSNET preparation. And then later I had my sixth semester end semester in my graduation, so I was a little busy with that, so I didn't prepare for my interview or an extempore. I believe we got to know later that that stage was happening, so we got less time for that. So yes, for my interview was on 9th July, and I started preparing for it on 1st June. So I had 1 month and 8 days to prepare for my interview. I believe like I personally would have required probably 1.5 or 2 months. I think I would have been more, I mean, I would have been better with that. But 1 month and 8 days worked for me. So for psychology students, I would suggest any research that you've done, please be thorough with that, because they will definitely ask questions from the research. 3-4 questions they will ask: which kind, I mean, what assessment tools did you use? Or what was the motive of your study? What is your study and applications of your study? So they will ask about that. And so in my prep for preparing for the interview, I actually had to revise 3 years of my graduation syllabus of psychology, because I knew they can ask any question from psychology. So I thought I needed to be prepared for it. So 3 years of psychology I revised from, not from exactly every book, but there are books that you get in the market which summarize psychology. For example, one book is Summarizing Psychology by a person called Bhaskar. So he was my teacher in Christ. Only he made the book, so it was very helpful for me. So I revised from that. And otherwise, you can get book, or you can read or go through the books that you read in graduation. So I had to go through that. And since I had other subjects such as English literature and sociology as well, so I had to revise those subjects also. But keeping in mind that my subject for masters was applied psychology, so I kept, I mean, most of my focus on psychology itself. So I revised psychology thoroughly, that I read in past 3-4 years. And apart from that, for extempore, we got like 10 days, I think 10, 12, or maximum 15 days to prepare for it, as far as I remember, because it was told in.
It was told quite late.
Last part of it, I remember. June end, it was told. So what I did was I went to Google. I went on Google and I searched for like psychology topics for extempore, and I got like a list of it. So I took out that list. I got like 8 pages worth of topics, and I used to sit down every day at about 8 o'clock, I remember, and I used to randomly select one topic and start speaking on it in front of my camera. So that was my preparation technique. So I used to sit in front of the camera, do at least 3 topics per day, and then I used to send that to my father so that he could assess it, and then he used to give me feedback on it. So I did that for my extempore, and yeah, keep ample amount of time for revision, either for, I mean, interview and TISSNET. Keep at least, I kept like 5 days for revision for both interview and TISSNET. So I think that's about it.
Actually, extempore might be, let's say, a temporary process. They might have something different for the next year. But I think that's a skill worth practicing, you know, to have something to speak on whenever given the topic. It's really improving. And when you have it, you can excel it. Like you can use it somewhere else as well, right? So it's not that even if it's not in the OA, that you cannot use it anywhere else.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, so let's move towards your background. So as I saw on your LinkedIn, you have done a couple of internships as well related to the course you have chose. So how did those internships help you in your, let's say, extempore, or if not that, then how did they help you in your OPI?
As far as I know, there are 3 members in the panel, and one is there to know about your background, as you said, and one is there to judge you on your subject knowledge. So one just asked me about my, the knowledge of psychology. So they asked me on psychology related questions. And one was there to just know about my social awareness, especially of my state. So the first panel member actually asked me about my internships. So a lot of time went into explaining my internships. So I believe that if you have a lot of experience, you can actually give a lot of time to explaining to them what you did in the internship. And I believe TISS actually focuses a lot on field work, as I've seen in my course also. They do focus a lot on field work. So if they know that you are a person already interested in doing internships and you've already done those internships, then I believe it will help you in your interview, because they'll know what your interests are, where you have worked, and whether you're interested in research or more practical fieldwork knowledge. So during my interview, I think 5 to 10 minutes, I was just explaining about my internships. I explained to them how I went to different localities in Chandigarh and interviewed people. I conducted over 200 interviews. So I was explaining to them how and what I got to know about those people, the drug problem in Punjab. So you can through your internships, you can actually tell them a lot. You can tell them what you learned, how you learned, and how you applied your practical knowledge into the how you put your theoretical knowledge and applied it to the practical field work. And it can also give an insight to them about your social quotient and how you think about people and what you think about people, which I think is very important to is they want to see how passionate you are about your field and how much you know about your field. So I think explaining your internships in detail is important. I mean, that worked for me. So I think that might work for anybody else also.
Okay, so actually, you can just say that when you have internships, you will have a lot to speak, and that is something you will be knowing, and you will be having a, like, let's say, fair code for you to play on.
Yeah, definitely. Because I did speak a lot on my internships and they got to know my interest. And I was actually passionate about the internships I did because I live in Punjab and one internship I did in Punjab. So I got to know that drug problem. I thought it was, not a lot. But I went to the field and, mothers of children were complaining about drug problems. So I got to know that it is a major problem and, it needs focus. So they got to know that I know about these things from Punjab. So yes, if you have internship, you can actually explain to them a lot. So I think that's a good tactic to play on, I would say.
Yeah, actually. And so let's say applying for masters is a huge decision, as like in general even, because that's going to be deciding your career. Like rest of your life, you will be working in that field. So this 2 years will be deciding how you're doing after this 2 years. You'll be deciding like what exactly are you going to do. So how do you think you made a decision for joining at TISS, and what do you expect from like this masters, like after this 2 years? Like let's say basically say your long-term goals.
Yes. So obviously my long-term goal is to become a psychologist. So becoming a psychologist, you need, I mean, in India, for becoming a clinical psychologist, you need minimum MPhil so that you can get registered under RCI. So that is still my aim to get a license to practice. So obviously I had to do my master's. So as I told you, I researched about this special course that was there at TISS, and I went through the course structure, and the course structure really fascinated me because, as I earlier said, that either colleges are either offering clinical psychology or counseling. So this is the first course that I've seen that's offering both of the topics or subjects together. And when I read the course structure, it was really fascinating because they were teaching about psychotherapy, diagnostic techniques, and the electives that were being offered were also very interesting. So the course structure itself seemed very appropriate, and I knew that this is. And when I got to know the ranking of TISS and the importance of TISS, then there was no looking back. I mean, that was the time when I decided that I have to, pursue this. So that was about it. So in masters, I'm looking forward to the course because I got to know from my seniors also at this that the faculty is really good and the field work that they tell you to do is also really good and it adds on to your knowledge a lot. So I'm really looking forward to this course. And after that, probably I would like to work for probably a year or two, and then I have to complete my I have to complete further education to get a license. So probably MPhil I'll have to do after this, and then PhD because that is kind of necessary in our field to, I mean, get that level of education and that kind of a degree. So that's my aim for the next 5 6 years.
Okay, that's great to know. So I hope you have all that when you are eligible to have all that. So let's move towards the next question because like as you said, you learned 1 year back about this, because you said that you had absolutely no idea, nor did I even had an idea about this, that it is such a reputed institution before I applied. So where did you have that idea? Did you just contact like your seniors from your college, or if not that, then how did you come to know about this?
So my basic go-to was just type in Google Masters in Psychology. So that's what I did. I just typed in Google Masters in Psychology, colleges in India. That's it. So there came a list of colleges. So I went to each website and I saw, I mean, I read about the college and I read about their ranking, where they stand, and the course. So firstly, most importantly for me was the course. So when I got to know about this course, I was very fascinated and I thought that I don't care about the college, but this is something that I want to do. So then I went to TISS website. I saw their ranking. I read about it. I read about the alumni structure and how everybody is so connected to each other, and the life at TISS. So I got to know about that, and a lot of people around me started saying, this is a very prestigious institute. It's the oldest institute in Asia, I think, for social
Yeah, yeah,
sciences.
yeah.
So I got to know the importance of it later. So when I, connected both these things, and I'm getting the course that I want, and I'm getting it at the best institute possible. So yeah, I got to know about it from Google. That's it. I didn't get to know about it from seniors or something. Just Google. I think the institute speaks for itself on pages, and
Actually,
that's
it
about it.
does. It does. No, in my case, what happened is I had absolutely no idea about like this as an institution is excelling on such fronts. So I just got to know it from my seniors, and then they told me that yeah, you can apply for it just being a bachelor. So yeah, I thought yeah, it's amazing, and I just applied it randomly, and I got through. So sometimes it's just
Yeah, that's
let's
great.
say luck. And in case of your
Yeah.
point, I see you have done a thorough research for whatever you wanted to do because Google and all yeah, even I did that for MBAs, let's say, but I didn't do that for TISS
Yeah.
particularly
Yeah,
as
you
said.
can't get, you can't get through like pure luck. I mean, I'm sure you have worked hard, definitely.
No, I have worked hard for something else. I worked for UPSC, so that's what helped me
Okay.
here.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Apart from that, let's move towards a general question about your background, like psychology at large. So a lot of students have a preconceived connotation that psychology only deals with human mindset. So, but like I see that you have pursued a degree in the same. So can you shed some more light about what psychology exactly is? Like, let's say, how can one see it as a career in contemporary times?
Yes. So psychology, as you rightly said, that people have preconceived notions. Like whenever I tell somebody I'm a psychologist, they casually say, "Oh, so you can read minds."
Yeah.
No, we can't read minds. We don't know about that. And in one session, not like one session, after 15 minutes, they tell you to give advice. We can't give advice just like that. So psychology is the science of mind and behavior. So you not only study minds, you also study human behavior. So you are involved in research about predicting behavior, future behaviors, and it's about knowing the conscious and unconscious processes of the human mind. So when people say that we are mind readers, no, that's not true. And when they casually say give advice, that's also not true. It requires a thorough process of actually conducting assessment. So whenever a client comes in, you actually give them standardized tests. They complete those tests, and finally you get assessment. And based off those assessments, you finally do counseling sessions, and then you come to the therapy or the treatment part of it. So it's a very thought out process as such. It's not something very casual. And it's a multifaceted discipline. It has got various subfields within it. So for example, you have health psychology, counseling, clinical, forensic psychology, criminology, marketing psychology. So it depends in which context do you want to study the mind and behavior. For example, marketing psychologists want to understand consumer behavior, like what are the products that the consumers are interested in. Will an emotional appeal appeal to them more, or a practical approach will appeal them more? So they're more interested in reading, I mean, assessing the mind of people in that way. Whereas a counseling psychologist is more interested in solving daily stresses or problems in a person's life. So it depends in which context you want to, understand the mind and behavior of a person, because there are various subfields. So that I would like to clarify. And in the contemporary times, as you asked, I mean, after COVID-19, we know now the importance of mental health, and we know how scarce mental health professionals are in India or otherwise in the world as such. So I would genuinely encourage people to join this field because there is a huge demand for it, definitely. We want more psychologists and mental health professionals working in the field because I mean, there is a lot of demand, but the supply is very less. As I mean, right now, a lot of people are joining, but yes, we do require a lot of people working in this field, whether psychiatrists, social workers, or psychologists. We do need more people working in this field. And not only after the pandemic has the demand increased for counseling or clinical psychologists, but otherwise also you see that industrial organizational psychologists are also in demand right now because corporations or workplace productivity or workplace behavior, to analyze those behaviors, you need industrial organizational psychologists for recruitment appraisals. So the demand of psychology in almost every field has increased. So I would say that if you are having doubts about the field and whether you'll have a good career, I would suggest that if you know the subject well and if you do well in that subject, you will definitely have a good career in that. So I would actually encourage people to join this because we have scarcity of mental health professionals.
Okay. That's really sad to know that some field has a lacuna of something, but I hope the demand is fulfilled once people get towards the career as like a leaving the mindset behind that psychology is not just about reading minds and all. Rather, it is not at all about reading minds.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was great talking to you, Jaspal. I congratulate you on getting into TISS and wish you all the best for your future life and as well your life at TISS. So would you have a final note, like an ending note for people who are preparing for TISSNET and especially for the course you have gone for?
I would just say be patient and just work hard. I mean, you'll have days where you'll feel that you'll not get into TISS and the seats are very less and everything, because I went through that. Every day I used to question whether I'll get in, whether I'll not get in. But I'll say that if you know that you worked hard and you've given it your 100%, you just have to be patient and just wait for the result to come out. And I think if you worked hard and you're passionate about your subject and you know your subject, then I think you should be good to go. So that's about it.
Okay, so that's great. Let me introduce myself. I'm Kshitij, and TISS Talks is an initiative that is made for awareness for people who are appearing for TISS, and just so that they can know about the various courses and TISS and why should they pursue it. So I think that should be it. Thank you for joining, Jaspal, and let's have a talk after 2 years when you are done with your course, so that you'll have a different perspective altogether.
Thank you. And it's great that you're doing such a thing, because I think while preparing also, I used to see videos on YouTube. I was actually looking for people who've done applied psychology so that I can listen to them and I can know what they went through and how they prepared. So I think it's a great initiative that you've taken, and congratulations to you too.
Okay.
And I hope to meet you soon sometime.
Yeah, sure. Once the campus opens, we might get to meet as well.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.